Hello, everyone. My name is Shama. I'm the program director here at Girls and Geese. We are back for yet another exciting next generation series. We have on a very special guest today, 13-year-old Maddie Morales. She's out of Fighting Chance Jiu Jitsu in Kerrville, Texas. She's an avid competitor. She's been training since she was 6 years old. Her whole family trains. And so we're really excited to get her perspective. She's been training since she was 6 years old, so it's pretty awesome. At 13 years old, you already have been training more than half, over half your life. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome. So I know I want to kind of go backwards a little bit. So how did you get started in jujitsu? Where did your first journey begin?
So I started because I was like one of the smallest people in my class, and my dad had two boys before having me, and he had no idea what he was going to do with a little girl. So my mom told him, just do something with her that you like to do. And he really liked like different types of fighting, and he wanted me to be able to defend myself just 'cause, like, I was always the smallest, and I went to like these public schools that had a good group of kids in like every class, and I was always like really tiny. And in second grade, actually, I almost got held back just for my age. So I was always like the youngest and the smallest. And my dad wanted me to be able to defend myself just in case a situation ever happened where I needed to. So he put me into jujitsu and opened up his own school just so I'd have a place to train.
Nice. That's pretty awesome. So for you, was jujitsu, so did you get to you got to try it before your dad opened it, or did he open the school and then that's where you tried it?
So I actually got to do a little bit before he opened the school. Like my mom has videos of us on like the floor of our old house where like my dad was showing me stuff from Top Mount and I was trying to drill it on him on like the floor, and we had a wooden floor, so it was a really hard floor. But
Oh
just so I
God.
could get like the basics down before opening up the school.
Nice. So your dad has been your first instructor and only instructor.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. That's a really cool, awesome bonding experience, I'm sure, for both of you to be able to have that. And I read also that your sister trains.
Yeah, she started when she was like 5, I believe. And she fell in love with it.
Nice. So was it the same for you? Was it jujitsu? You were just super in love with it right away. You were like, I just want to do this all the time, or was it kind of a gradual experience?
So I really liked it, but there's like some days whenever I was younger, as I was like, I told my mom, I don't want to do this anymore, and she's like, Maddie, no, you need to do this. You need to be able to defend yourself. And then after that, I did one of my first competitions, and after that, I was hooked, and I like just didn't want to stop at all.
Do you do any other sports or any other hobbies outside of jujitsu?
Um, I do have a couple of hobbies, sports wise. I do online school now, so I don't really play any other sports. I used to do volleyball and like a little. I did soccer for a couple of years, but I would always like kind of give up on it. And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want to do it next year. But jiu-jitsu's always been something I with. But hobby wise, I've always done like anything artsy and creative. Like I build with Legos and I'll draw and stuff like that. And most of the time I try to turn all my hobbies into small businesses that usually I only last for a week, and I'm
But at
like,
least you
oh, I'm done.
try.
Yeah,
That's
I feel like
awesome.
I've tried. I'm done.
That's awesome. So do you would build like little Lego things and then try to sell
Yeah.
those as
I
like
would actually so like I started up something like different that I'll be watching TV and I'll just start crocheting little animals and I'll try to sell those. And like I tried selling bracelets, and actually I take gibbets that you put on your Crocs and I'll bedazzle those with other stuff. And
very
I
cool.
went and I usually sell them here, but I've made $70 so far off of that.
Nice.
So it's a start.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a start. That's really cool to be able to monetize your hobbies and things that you like to do. I'm a big crafty person too, so I love that. That is super awesome. So when you first got into jujitsu, you got into it, and then how soon after did you start doing competition? And did you have any other
Um,
kids to train with, or was it just you and your sister? That's another question I have.
so me and my sister are 5 years apart.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
she actually took her first steps on the mats. And my dad like remembers the exact spot where she started walking. But
No.
I actually did have a couple of kids. It was mainly boys at the time.
Uh-huh.
There's maybe like one or two girls. I know for sure there's like two girls, but they were sisters and they didn't stick with it long.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I started competing at like 7 years old. So like once I turned 7, I started competing, and it was a couple of competitions here and there. I actually kind of remember my first ever competition. It wasn't like a real competition. It was just like one of those like in-house competitions at a different school. And my mom and dad made fun of me because I did not know what I was doing. And the girl had me in an Americana, and I was like, "No, you're doing it wrong." And I was helping her, and my mom and dad were like, "Maddie, you're not supposed to help her." And I was all like, "I didn't know." Like I was maybe almost 7, and I was helping out the other girl, and it was like really funny.
Here, let me help you finish it. Oh, that's adorable. So do you help out at the academy now that you're older? Do you help out with the kids class?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
we actually have 3 different classes. We have one for like our like 5 to 9 year olds, and then we have one for like 10 to like 15, and then we have the adult class. And I usually help out with the little, we call them the littles class, which is the 5 to 9 year olds. And I usually help out over there because sometimes we'll have like a good sized group, and other times we'll have really small groups. And we actually have a couple little kids who need a little bit of extra help sometimes, like a little bit of one on one. So I usually help out with stuff like that.
Very cool. That's kind of cool because you get to kind of like come full circle and help out
Yeah.
children like you when you first started. So are there things that when you came up during your time, you said you had a lot of boys. Are you seeing more little girls now entering into the classes?
Yeah, we've like before it was like a couple little girls, and it wasn't until after like a year or two where we started getting a little bit more girls. But now, I looking back at this all like I was like one of the only girls, and I call myself one of like the OGs of the class because like during COVID, once COVID hit, a lot of like our older like a lot of the older kids, they kind of went off, and like their parents didn't want them to come back just because of COVID, and like a lot of them didn't want their kids getting sick, and a lot of them were like a little bit older than me, and I'm going into high school next year, so they're all in high school and playing other sports. But there was never really any girls for me to go up against, so I was always like training with a whole bunch of older, bigger boys. So I always like whenever I competed, I always felt a lot more comfortable going up against the boys whenever I was younger, just because I was already rolling with the boys. So I was like, okay, I know what to do. And then it wasn't until I got into the girls, whenever I was like maybe 9 years old, whenever I started like, okay, this is so much different. And now, just like right now, it's like a lot more different because you see all these girls coming into like our classes, trying it out and just loving it. And I was like, wow, this is like so much different from when I started.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's always how it goes. I started long before you were born. I started 20 years ago. And if you can imagine what it was like 20 years ago for women, it was completely different than what it was now. And so I'm a big believer in, I had to go through a lot because, it was a completely different jujitsu world out there. And so I always want to leave it better than how I found it, and make it better and easier
Mm.
for the generation behind me. So what are some things that maybe you look at these little kids and say, I would wish I had this when I started my jujitsu, so I want to be that person for them, or I want to provide this opportunity for them, or make something easier for them? Is there anything that you ever look at and say, I would love to make this opportunity or something happen for them that I didn't have?
Honestly, I'm gonna like for me, it's the amount of training partners I had
Mm-hmm.
because we were a completely different school back then, and it was really small, and the we only had a class for young, like the littles, and then adults, and I would always have to go with these boys that were like so much older than me and so much bigger than me, so I was really good at working my frames during like my rounds and stuff, but it was really hard just because I never had like that extra like girl who was like flexible and could help me work with like my like learning more of my flexibility and what I can do with it. But
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like, oh, you guys I would like say, oh, you guys are kind of lucky because you get like all these girls that can help you, and you get all these tough training partners that won't take it that easy with you because they don't want to smash you like you're a tiny little bug everywhere. So, but actually now I have one of my best friends is now one of my favorite training partners.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, with her, like, her mom lets her stay for the adult class, and we'll do the adult class together, and we're both really flexible, so we get to do more of the moves that, all the other kids can't really do, and we do more advanced moves and more moves, built for, like, our strengths.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you about that because I know you said you have a teens class, which is awesome. And a lot of academies, even to this date, don't have enough teens to have
Yeah.
a teens class. So that's pretty awesome that you guys have that. So you have more partners that are your size and your skill level, and like you said, your best friend that you can train with. What are some things that help to kind of get more teens to your school? Is it the fact that you are a teen and you can kind of recruit school, like people from your school, or is it something that your parents, put an active effort on marketing for teens and kids, or?
So since like we have a good amount of kids, and actually one of my teammates, sometimes I tell my mom, I'm like, he was sent here just to annoy me. But he'll go to school because I since I do online school, I don't like really get to see people face to face. But he'll go to school because he goes to the middle school here, and he's like, guys, you got to come to my jujitsu school. And we have a lot of kids who have friends, and they're like, hey, you got to come to our school. Like it's really cool, and I have so much fun. And he's actually brought a couple of his friends
Oh,
down
good.
and to see just to try it out. But yeah, it's usually because somebody will say something to somebody else, so then they'll try it. And we don't really we'll advertise, but we aren't like you got to come here. It's like with all the
Hmm.
ads, we'll just like we'll post pictures and stuff, and we'll we'll do like the hashtag for the school and stuff like that. So
Nice. Well, that's cool. Yeah, because like one of my favorite when I was a blue belt, this was about 15, oh gosh, maybe 18 years ago. And my favorite training partner was this teen boy, and there were no teens. There were like he had to train with the adults.
mm.
So do you find that you still train with the adults even though you still have kids or teens to train with?
um yeah, so since like I said, I was like one of the original kids. A lot of them have like faded away or had to like do something else, or like they moved. We're getting all these new students, so I'm pretty much at the top.
Oh, okay.
So I'll go and do rounds with the adults, but there's only certain adults I can do rounds with because either they're gonna be too rough and have no control and just like kind of smash me. And I usually do the adults like whenever I'm getting ready for a competition. So my dad has like a handful of adults that he lets me roll with. One of them is close to my size, and I get like pretty good rounds in over there. Sometimes like I won't do like the drilling portion, but I'll do the rounds just so because I do the drilling portion in my class, and then sometimes they'll go over stuff that happened that was in my class in the adults, and I was like, okay, I just went over this. I should probably get a couple more reps in, but I just did this, and I'll jump in for rounds, and I have like maybe like 4 or 5 adults I can do rounds with that won't like try to purposefully like smash me, and they'll let me work, and they won't like try to muscle out of everything.
That's nice. That's nice when you can get good. That's nice too that you have your dad looking out for you too, and he can
Yeah.
kind of help direct you. Because it can be scary, navigating that world for sure, especially as a kid, who are the good training partners, who are not. So I'm curious to hear what has been one of your most like memorable experiences, and this could be competition, this could be in training, one of your most memorable jujitsu experiences.
So I actually have a couple that were like that really like kind of like almost like a flashback type of moment type of thing. One is whenever I won my first ever Naga belt,
Nice.
because that kind of just led kind of just kept me going. And I was about 9 years old, and I was going up against some bigger people, and I won the belt, and I was so excited. And I remember telling my dad, wait, I just won a belt. Like I just like I had no idea. I just thought I won a medal. And he's like, Maddie, you just won a belt. I was like, I won a medal or a belt? And I was like, wait, I thought I won a medal. And I was so confused. And then that same day, I remember it so perfectly. My mom's car got towed
Oh
because they
no.
didn't, we were staying at a hotel and they didn't see the little parking thing that was on the
Oh.
car that saying like, oh, we're staying here. So we had me and my brother, um, while my mom, dad, and little sister were going to get the car, we went to the competition, and we took a taxi, and we had to get to the competition. And then a couple minutes like later, my mom and dad came, and it was so chaotic that day. And I was like, no way, I just won, and I was so happy. Another time that's really memorable is my first ever ADCC,
Nice.
because it was like the first one ever, and it was in Las Vegas, and it was during my little sister's birthday. And I remember how chaotic it was and how loud, and there's so many people. And my little sister, they didn't even start the timer for her. Like the ref was like go, and nobody had the timer ready,
Oh
and she was
no.
like not ready at all. So she didn't place in that one, but it was her first ever ADCC, and she's used to doing the smaller competitions. Now she's getting a lot better, and she knows more or less like how to start and stuff. But I remember like I kept doing all these rounds, and we had to walk around looking for the podium and all this stuff, and how we would run back and forth from her mat to my mat until we finally found a place to sit. And then as I was sitting, some like these older kids started going off the mat, so we all had to back up, and I almost got crushed right before. So
You're like, I
that was,
almost didn't make it to my match.
yeah, it's always fun whenever um the people rolling on the mat get this close to you. And then the most memorable is whenever I won gold in an
Ooh.
ADCC. It was my third ever ADCC, and I was so proud of myself because my
Oh.
little sister had just won gold right before me.
Yay.
And my dad was like, Mia, you're the first one to win gold at Fighting Chance. And I was all like, well, I'm the first one to win double gold. And my dad was like, that's true. Because in my family, we all compete and we all do jujitsu. So we're always trying to like be better than the other person. So it's all like, I did this, and like somebody in my house would say, I'll do this. And I was like, well, I'll do this twice as fast as you will. And we'll fight around with each other. But I was so proud of myself because I actually went up against people that were like a lot bigger and a lot older.
Uh-huh.
Like I think I got bumped into a bigger division. Like it was like a lot, like the girl was like a lot heavier than me, and I ended up beating her. And I remember it like really well. And the ref was all like, watch your spine, because I was like, she's on my back, and I was doing something where if she did anything, I could have broken my back.
Ooh. Oh, that,
But
yeah.
to like, but at the same time, it's all like, whatever it takes to win the match, unless it's death. If I'm gonna die, then no, thank you.
No, yeah, no thanks
So
for that one.
yeah, but I ended up winning double gold, and I was so proud of myself, and I
Yay!
was really happy. And then afterwards, we went to the aquarium just to do something fun. So
Nice. Yeah, double gold. I've never gotten a double gold. That's awesome. Very cool. Do you get nervous when you compete?
no, not really. Like
No?
before, um, like sometimes whenever if I haven't competed in like a little bit, then I'll be like, oh, okay, now I'm a little bit nervous, but not really. So before like any of my matches, I'll be focused on my match, like my next match, but like there'll be like a little switch in my head that doesn't like fully turn on until the minute I step on the mat. Like I could be talking to you about something completely random, and then the minute I step on the mat, like the little switch flicks on, and I just like kind of go into a competition mode. And before, like I used to not be able to hear my dad. Like he would be yelling, and I would hear him, but I would also hear all the other background noise. But now I step on the mat, and somehow, like in my brain, I'm able to blur out all the other noise except for my dad. It's like the weirdest thing ever. And it's like, I feel like as you compete more and more, like you start to find your competition mode, and then like your brain is eventually able to like kind of cancel out all the noise except for like your coach.
Absolutely. Do you remember what happened after the match? Are you able to remember what happened, what you did, and what occurred?
Um, Sometimes yes, other times it's all like, um, what did I do again? And then like even in my rounds, like I'll do a round and my dad would be like, so did you get any like escapes or any submissions? I'm like, I think I got two. And he's like, which ones? And I'm able to name the first one, and the second one I'm all like, I know I got two. I don't remember what the second one is, but I got two.
No, yeah. That that's a hard one. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Like,
Yeah.
do you go back and watch videos ever with your dad, or just go
Um,
watch videos at all with your matches to kind of critique it and fix things
yeah,
that you want to do?
sometimes I will. Like, like especially like whenever I lose a match, like I'll take one day off, right, just to get like, because sometimes like I'll get a small injury during like one of my matches, and I just need like that extra day to recover.
Hmm.
Like there was
Yeah,
one time
absolutely.
I was doing a round, and I got kicked straight in the nose,
Oh no.
and like it was really bad, and like my mom was like, is your nose crooked? So I took one day off just to kind of let my nose settle and like my face, because I popped a blood vessel right
Oh
here,
no.
and like this kid's face, it wasn't on purpose, and he
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
so
yeah.
bad afterwards.
Yeah.
He went all the way like right here, and I
Oh.
got a scratch on top of my eyelid, and I cut like and I popped a blood vessel, and I was like, I just need one day. And then after that one day, I kept getting hit in the nose, and then I was all like, I just need 2 minutes in the week, like just 2 minutes, for my nose to heal up. And then the week later, I got kneed in the nose in the
Oh.
exact same spot. But
Oh.
yeah, there's sometimes I'll just take one day off, and then we'll get straight back to work, and we'll watch videos, or my dad will watch videos of my match just to kind of go over, and he'll show me like, see, you did this, and we'll go back and we'll fix it.
Yeah. No, I think it's helpful. Like doing the videos and going back and like being able to watch it is super helpful. Because like I'm the same way. Sometimes I can remember what happened, and then sometimes I'm like, I have no clue.
Like, I don't know what
I
happened.
have no clue. I just went through the storm. Oh, so I know you're 13 years old. You got a lot of your life ahead of you. Do you ever look forward, like when I grow up, I want to do this? Have you thought that far ahead? Do you know what you want to
Actually,
do?
I've had my entire life planned out since I was in sixth grade. I'm in eighth grade, and I'm about to go into ninth grade. But in sixth grade, I started to plan out my life. And then in seventh, I started getting into a little bit more detail, and now I have it almost all planned out.
Nice. I want to hear.
Um, so jujitsu wise, I really want to win the championship coming up in August.
Nice.
And past that, I want to go to trials, and I want to win trials, but at the least I at least
Yeah.
want to place in
Yeah.
trials. And if I do win, I want to go to the actual like Abu Dhabi and do that
Ooh.
stuff. But besides jiu-jitsu, I want to be a doctor, more
Nice.
specifically a pediatrician.
No.
Just because like I love kids and I've always wanted to be a doctor. Just because like I was like, oh, it's really cool and it's so interesting. Like my mom made me take a break because there's one day I was like 4 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't go to bed. And my grandpa, who I sadly didn't get to meet, actually had a type of like lung and mouth can like throat and mouth cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Was actually doing research on himself to try to cure it. And I was like, okay, you know what? I want to cure cancer, but it's called glioblastoma, and it's a type of a cancer that attacks the healthy cells in your brain.
Oh
So I want
no.
to cure that and win a Nobel
Yeah.
Prize in medicine for it.
Heck yeah. Oh, that's what I love here. This might be a little heavy, but I just went through ovarian cancer. That's why my hair's so short. And so that is really awesome. I commend you on that.
Mm,
That's a big goal and you can do
yeah.
it. Look at what you're doing it just at 13 years old, and all your goals.
Mm,
You're crushing your goals now. So just
yeah.
little bit by little bit. That's amazing. Yay! Oh, that's
Like
cool.
me and my best friend, we like whenever like I she's been my best friend like ever since she started jiu-jitsu was maybe like 2, 3 years ago. And we're always joking around, but we mean it whenever we say we have so much dirt on each other. Somebody's life is getting ruined if we ever stop being friends, and it might not even be our own. And we were always like, we want to be on a TV show, or we want to be in a movie or on a podcast. And like I told her I was on a podcast that I was gonna be on this podcast, and she's like, yay. And like the one of the reasons she's my best friend ever is actually because like I have some friends from school, and I told them like they were like, congratulations, and it's hilarious. I told her and she was all like, no way. And I was like, yeah, that I got into the championship. And she started jumping up and down, and she's texting me, I'm jumping up and down right now. And then and she's like,
Oh.
my brother just told me to set up. And she yelled back at him, you set up. And he was just so excited for me. And like she's one of my best friends ever,
Oh.
and like one of my favorite training partners. So
Yeah, you cannot let go of that friend. That friend, that
yeah.
is that's a friend that can celebrate in your victories and
Mm,
celebrate that is a true friend through and through. And I love that you have that. I still have mine. I've had mine since I was 8 years old, one of my really good close friends. And now I'm
mm,
45 and we're still good friends. And now we're middle-aged
yeah.
women. So hold on to that one. That is really awesome. Very
We're
cool.
always sending each other videos that are all like me and my best friend in 50 years, and we're at the gym working, and they're like at the gym working out. Or me and my best friend, like I sent her one, it was like me and my best friend whenever like whenever they're getting married, and she's like, you're my best friend, and then the person's all in the like sitting down saying, I'm your best friend. Do you like I'm your best friend? And I was like, and I sent that to her, and she's like, yeah, that's so true.
Oh, she's like your soul sister. That is so
Yeah.
sweet. So did you get her into jujitsu or did she come to jujitsu and you met her in jujitsu? How did that work?
Yeah, so she came to jiu-jitsu, and that's when I met her. And
Oh, very cool.
my dad always makes kind of laughs because like we all started off close to the same size. Like my little sister and her were the same size. I was a little bit taller. And then she hit her growth spurt, and then we were the same size, and then I hit my growth spurt, and then we were different sizes. And my dad's like, it was like a race, whoever can get the tallest first wins. But yeah, like we've hit like we've all hit our growth spurts. Me, my little sister, and her. Like we've all hit our growth spurts. Like while she's been here, so we've always been like getting taller and seeing like
Oh.
it's almost like who can get taller first, because there was one day we were like we have the reflective glass mirror or the reflective glass windows that like you can
Uh-huh.
see yourself in, and like it was almost like in a blink of an eye, like we were the same size, and then I look and I was like, oh my gosh, we're so much taller, or I'm so much taller than you. But yeah, she's like she's a really good training partner too.
Mhm.
But the only thing that makes it a little bit hard is that I'm a little bit taller than her and a little bit bigger because I'm older than her. So it's a little bit harder because like especially being a little bit older, just because you get like you have a lot more physical strength and you're taller,
Mhm.
so you can do stuff a little bit easier. Like I used to deadlift her. I'd have her like go like this, grab onto herself, and I'd grab her arms and her legs, and I'd just pick her up and then put her down. So there's always been that little aspect, but she's really good for working drills because she won't just
Yeah.
flop. Like there's a teammate I call her flip flop because I tried to do a double leg on her, and it was like I joke around with her and I'm like, you made the entire building shake because I did a double leg and she hit the ground really hard because she flopped, and all of a sudden all you heard was a boom. And I was like, girl, you made the entire building shake. But yeah, she
Aw.
doesn't flop, and like she helps with like doing drills like really well because she's just like a really great training partner.
No, and that's super crucial, you know? It's like jujitsu is it's an individual sport, right? But it
Yeah.
takes a whole team and it takes a team of people that you work really well with for you to
Mm,
succeed, right? And so
yeah.
this is awesome that you have that, especially at your age, you know. I find that a lot of girls like they come up into jujitsu when they're young, like they come in at 6 and then they hit like 13, 14, and they start to kind of drop off a little bit because there's other
Yeah.
things, right? They want to go to hang out with their friends and they want to do this and that. What are some things? Do you ever have days where you're like, I would rather go do this, or I don't know if I want to do jujitsu or I want to take a break. Have you ever had those moments before? And if so, how have you gotten through them? And if not, how do you stay the course and what kind of keeps you motivated?
So I've had those days before where it's usually I have those days whenever somebody like really makes me mad or like somebody does something and I was like, oh, just back off for like 5 minutes. Like those days where like I can't stand them and then they'll go to class and I was like, mm. But I usually just like I'll tell my mom something and she's like, and I'll think back and I was like, well, I was good at this sport, but I've had a couple coaches that have just like really knocked me off of like ever wanting to do it again. Like in volleyball, I had a coach that made you write what other people did bad in a book. So you
No.
all had your own binders, and you would have to write like you didn't like you need to work on hitting the
Oh,
ball, or you need to work on
yeah, that's not cool.
communication. And I would read it, and I was like, I did that, and I was like a really nice person, and I was like, oh, you did really good at this, but I think you might need to work on being a little bit more loud. And I couldn't really find anything, so I would be like, maybe you just need to work on this. And
Hmm.
then they'd be put in mind, you need to work on this, and I was like, wow. And I actually went to a volleyball game and 2 hours, like 2, maybe 4 hours of a volleyball game. I only got to play for 5 minutes.
No, yeah.
And I told my mom afterwards, I'm like, Mom, can I have an ice pack? She's like, why do you need an ice pack? Because the coach would give us gold stars if like for cheering and stuff. So I was just there and I was like, oh yeah, I get a gold star. And I clapped so hard because that's
Well,
all I could do that I bruised like right here, just clapping.
oh my gosh.
But like I think about times like that and I'm like, no, I there's no other sport that I've stuck with. There's no other thing that like I've stuck with really like even my hobbies. Like it's almost like I joke around with like my mom and my friends, like so it's like, okay, it's been too much. It's been like 2 months. I get to change the hobby. And then like I'll stick with a hobby for like 2 months and then I'm like, okay, next one. But jujitsu's just been like something that like I've never really fizzled out of or done anything like that where I'm just like, nope, I'm done. So there's been a couple days or I've been real tired and I was all like, "Ugh, I don't really want to go to class today. I got like 2 hours of sleep and then I had to do all this stuff." And I'm like,
Hmm.
no, but I still go to class anyways and like try my best, even though like I'm half asleep.
You hit it on the head when you talked about having a bad experience with a coach, and how that can sour the whole experience. And in jujitsu, you've had your family and your dad looking out for you, which I think
Yeah.
it probably makes a huge difference if I'm not wrong, and you correct me if I'm right, but having that mentor and having that family support and somebody looking out for you has made a pretty good impact on your jujitsu journey and wanting you to keep going.
Yeah, because I feel like whenever you like specifically like in jiu-jitsu, like your coach is always going to like be there for you and they're going to help you. But for me, having my like dad as a coach or having like a family member that does jiu-jitsu with you, it does make it a little bit better. But at the same time, like for instance, my brother is one of my coaches, and sometimes it's all like, no, just stop, because he'll do something right before, like something that a brother will do, and then he'll go to class and he'll say something, and I was like, just stop talking. Or he'll do something and then he'll say something different. I was like, that's not what happened.
Yeah,
And
that's
but like
brothers.
with my dad, like it's a lot better whenever you have like your dad or like a parent as your coach, because you get like that extra one-on-one time and you can like they'll like you get to, for me, since I do online school, we do a like an early morning workout and we'll do drilling at that time as well, which makes it like which makes it a lot easier during class, because I do drilling in the morning and then after my dad picks up my little sister and then I'll do the classes. But like I get to work on stuff with him that I can't really do with like my class, because it's a little bit more advanced, or it's like we're going on over like fundamentals or something. Like today we went over the fundamentals of like side control and like frames and stuff like that. So like you get a little bit of extra practice with stuff and they'll pay attention to what like you need and not what like the entire class needs. So like you get that one-on-one like extra time to focus in on what you're messing up on.
100%. 100%. And people pay a lot of money to have that built-in coach, that you see a
Yeah.
lot of people in jujitsu that are marketing that, but having that built-in into your family unit is huge. So, oh, it was such
Yeah,
a
my dad's always
pleasure.
saying like you
Oh, go ahead. He's always saying, go ahead.
sorry, so my dad's always saying how like you get like a lot of people want what you have, how you have like a built-in coach and how you have a gym at home and with extra mat space and more mat time. And so like yeah, but then like at the same time he's like, I get it, you've all like you've had this before, like this is something that you've grown up with. So he's like, yeah, I get how like it's not that big, like it's a big deal to you, but it's at the same time not as big as a deal as somebody who doesn't have like their parent as like their coach or like
Exactly.
helping them out. So
Exactly. No, it's all that you've known, but you are living the dream, girl. Like you really are. Like there's so many little kids out there and adults too that are like, I just want to train jujitsu and I want to have my life structured around it, and having that
mm,
coach there all the time helping and guiding you is key. So you really are absolutely fortunate. But it was an absolute pleasure talking with you. I've had a lot of fun chatting with you. Is there anything you want to do? Anybody, any shout outs you want to put out there for anybody?
I want to give a shout out to Donnie Blue from RDA in San Antonio. And my best friend, she's gonna get mad at me for saying her name, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And my best friend Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Yay, awesome. Well, very cool. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It was an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you
I
so much for having me on.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see where you go. So what is your next tournament? Where should we look for you next?
I'm going to Phoenix, and I believe it's next week.
Very cool.
for ADCC, and then I'm doing Dallas in, I want to say, June.
Very cool. Well, good luck. I wish
So,
you
and
the
then
best
I
of
have
luck.
August.
I'm
Thank you so
excited to
much.
see you in Abu Dhabi too. So go get it.
Thank you.
No problem. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Thank you again, Maddie and family, for allowing Maddie to be a part of this. It was an absolute pleasure. This is definitely a girl you got to keep your eyes out for, folks. She's going places, and you never know, she may be treating your kids someday as your pediatric doctor. So, thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this, and we will see you all next time.